regrets collect like old friends, here to relive your darkest moments.
Whether it be physical, sexual, or mental abuse, they are all forms of violence against women and girls. Every day or even every second, somewhere in the world, there is a woman, young or old, that is being abused and or violated, whether it be their rights, their mind, or their body. This is not just a social issue, this is a serious crime that is overlooked by much of the world's population and has been underrepresented in the media. Violence against women has been a global issue for decades, if not centuries. Besides the physical harm it causes women, the mental damage along with the physical creates lasting effects on women around the world. In researching New Zealand and the surrounding areas in that Pacific region, violence against women is a pressing issue, especially when it comes to domestic violence in Australia and New Zealand, particularly those in the Maori culture. According to the UN Women National Committee of New Zealand, globally up to 6 out of every 10 women experience physical and/or sexual violence in their lifetime. In 1996, the United Nations General Assembly created a trust fund for UN women in support of violence against women. This trust fund is to show that violence against women of any kind should not be accepted and must be addressed, minimized, and eventually eliminated. UN Women resides in over 100 countries. Unite to End Violence Against Women is a campaign which was launched in 2008. Created by the UN Secretary General, it is also supported by UN Women. UN Women works with the UN system as well as other partners for the regional components of the campaign throughout the world. Violence against women is a major issue in the Pacific, and to help this cause, there is a section of UN Women for the Pacific region. This committee administers the Pacific Trust Funds to centralized UN Women groups in surrounding areas to end violence against women. UN Women New Zealand is a branch from the Pacific Region Committee that contributes to violence against women projects in the Solomon Islands and Samoa. This committee is a membership-based organization and one of 16 national committees based in developed countries which offer a global network of support. The UN Women's Trust Fund to End Women Violence provides grants to other agencies that work for the same cause. WUTMI is an agency in the Marshall Islands that is a recipient of this fund as well as a partner to the UN Women New Zealand. According to a multi-country study by WHO in 2005, the combined prevalence of physical and sexual violence by a non-partner after the age of 15 ranged from 5% in Ethiopia to 65% in Samoa. UN Women New Zealand is also partnered with the White Ribbon Campaign in New Zealand, co-coordinated by the Families Committee. Originating in Toronto, Canada, the White Ribbon Campaign is the world's largest movement run by men, their objective being to end violence against women and girls, promote gender equality, and create a new vision of masculinity. According to the White Ribbon New Zealand campaign website, starting in 1991, they asked men to wear white ribbons as a pledge to never commit, condone, or remain silent about violence against women and girls. Since then, the White Ribbon has spread to over 60 countries around the world. In 1982, a significant piece of legislation, the Domestic Protection Act, was passed in New Zealand and provided for non-violence and non-molestation orders to be made to the district or family court. The act was made to facilitate efforts to reduce domestic violence in New Zealand, and in 1987, the police took a more assertive approach by deciding to arrest offenders if an assault was detected rather than waiting for the victim to make a complaint. However, this did not work as well as planned, and in 1995, a new and revised Domestic Violence Act was passed. Under the 1995 Act, the definition of domestic violence was broadened to encompass psychological, sexual, as well as physical violence. It was also applied to a wider range of relationships, including same-sex partners. One other organization out of many others located in New Zealand is the Women's Refuge. In 2011 to 2012, the Women's Refuge in New Zealand provided 83,994 safe beds for women and children who did not feel safe to sleep in their own homes. This was an average of 230 women and children each night. The Women's Refuge is New Zealand's most significant family violence organization with a 39-year history of providing far-reaching support for women and children. For women in New Zealand, Australia, the Solomon Islands, and Samoa, as well as all over the world, home is not a place of comfort but a place of fear. For these women, being in the arms of a loved one is not safety but pain. For these women, walking down the street is not just a relaxing everyday activity but a constant anxiety. Violence against women is more than just a social issue but a world health issue overlooked by society. However, these organizations make it possible for people to believe in hope and gain support, but that doesn't mean we shouldn't stop fighting.